Well, it was a roller coaster opening night in the NBA. We always talk about this league and the drama, and of course it was in full swing even before tip-off. Would LeBron play? Of course LeBron played. Would he and Kyrie go all KD and Russ and ignore each other? Well, there was the slightest acknowledgement before the game. I mean, not enough that you got the impression LeBron would stop calling Kyrie the kid or anything, but just enough. Dwayne Wade went ahead and started. J.R. Smith went ahead and sat. Kyrie scored a few revenge points right off the top, even if, the scoreboard operator seemed to forget he got traded. But, these things happen. Just when things look like they might settle into a normal night, came the horrible sound of a player's career derailing. And look, I don't need to watch Gordon's body fold like that again. You don't need to see it. So we're going to do a little cover up here, because what you should be looking at is the other players on the floor. Tristan Thompson looks like he's about to throw up. Dwayne Wade just drops to his knee, starts praying. The other Celtics players, they're hanging on to each other because really, I'm not sure they could have stayed upright otherwise. Even after the medical staff carted Hayward off the floor, LeBron James and Isaiah Thomas were both so affected. During the first half, they went to visit Hayward, who was in their own locker room. Even though he's a player on the other team, it changed the game. And it wasn't just that the basketball part was pretty flat until the fourth quarter. It was that, for good reason, it punctured the rivalry feel, too. I mean, think about the chip that Kyrie had on his shoulder walking into that building yesterday. By the time he left the court, he hugged pretty much everyone, right? I mean, except the ushers, maybe a few of them, too. Now, we did get, after all that, we did get a little juice as the game closed. It was interesting to see everyone bury the Celtics season at halftime last night. And then in the fourth, watch Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, and yes, Kyrie, show, hey, they're actually still a very good team. It was only the absolute force of LeBron James' will that gave Cleveland this win. In the final 3 minutes alone, we saw that alley-oop dunk, we saw that spin move, key defensive plays. And of course, as Kyrie tried for the buzzer beater, guess who had a hand in his face? LeBron James. We don't know what's going to happen to Gordon Hayward here. I mean, hopefully, like Paul George, his broken bones eventually just become part of a sentence in his longer story. But the end of this game led me to believe that the Celtics might not be as broken as everyone seems to be assuming right now. Still have some fight, and it's only game one. What do you guys think, Scotty? I mean, you watched the end of that. I mean, at halftime, we heard the TNT guys. Chuck said, okay, their season's over. What did you think as you watched the end?
Well, I think that the Boston Celtics still has a lot of firepower. Losing Gordon Hayward is definitely a big loss, but these young players, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, these guys still have room to grow and develop, and I think this just leaves them more opportunity to develop. They had a lot of fun last night. Even though they lost their best player, this team's shown that they can still compete with the best team in the East.
First of all, prayers out to Gordon, man. That was brutal. I mean, I know we in for competition, at that time, but when something like that happened,
you saw all the players, right?
It brings all us together, and we forget about basketball because it's bigger than that. I remember playing for the Rockets and Greg Oden. We were in Portland, and he tore his patella tendon, and I was right in front when I saw his knee give out, and it's a brutal sight. So, speedy recovery to him. These guys are not done. Jaylen Brown is ready. And Marcus Smart, I know they lost Avery Bradley, but he's a tough underball defender. If he's able to knock down open jumpers, I think he'll fill that void by losing Avery Bradley. Tatum is a big guy. I think, he has tremendous upside. 14 points last night in his debut. So these young guys are very competitive with Kyrie leading the break, and I think they will still be right there in the fold. However, they will not beat Cleveland. Even if they had Gordon.
Well, by the way, Scotty said, before Gordon Hayward is their best player. I think that's probably a minority opinion. I happen to agree with you.
I was going to say, you said that earlier this preseason.
I think he is their best player, and I think their season is probably over in the sense that the dream of somehow upsetting a healthy Cavaliers team in the conference finals, they just don't have enough high-end talent anymore to do that. But, man, isn't it crazy to watch Marcus Smart shoot 5 of 16, and then you look at the box score, you're like, but I still feel like he willed them back into the game with hustle plays. He's just one of those players.
Right. Yeah, and I think we watched him do this last year in the playoffs. I mean, we knew he wasn't shooting the ball great from the field, but when the opportunity came, he made some big shots.
And by the way, they won that one game against the Cavaliers after Isaiah got hurt. So
he went crazy from 3-point range.
Celtics 2-3 years from now, it's going to be tough.
No. There's no
Tough.
question about it. But this leads to my question. Zach, you joke at the top of the show, why am I here next to these Hall of Famers? I want your front office opinion, though, because you talk to all these guys. Do they have to make different moves this season? The picks that they have stockpiled that they might trade differently. If Boogie Cousins or Anthony Davis comes on the market, will they hold back because, hey, they can't make a move? They feel like they couldn't make a run this year? Would they go after something more? How will this change their plan for this
was
year?
always about the long game for the Celtics. It's not about this year. It's always about the long game. If Anthony Davis becomes available, they will throw everything into the pot to get Anthony Davis. They will not throw hardly anything into the pot to get DeMarcus Cousins. But look, they have a roster spot. They'll get a designated player exception if he's out for the season, and they can fill that without going over the tax. But they'll get Marcus Morris back. Jaylen Brown is ready. Jason Tatum is, I think, readier than a lot of rookies.
Yeah,
they have enough guys that really this is just about staying the course for them. They're a good young team playing the long game.